BC Pop just released their first episode of Helluva Boss, and I had fun watching it, though it was a bit hard for me to determine if I preferred the pilot or the first episode, as there's been some stuff that they improved in their pilot, but there are also other stuff that they changed but didn't need to. I had to actually rewatch the pilot first to make sure if I remember it correctly, and before we start, if you have not watched the first episode of Helluva Boss, I strongly recommend you watch that first. I'll put a link in the description below. I'll first talk about the main cast and mention what I like and don't like, because I noticed there has been changes to the characters as well as other stuff that might possibly be related to Hazbin Hotel, since they are set in the same timeline and world. Now, the first thing I noticed is Millie's voice. I personally much prefer Erica Lindbeck playing as Millie, who also voices Loona on the pilot, but Millie's voice actor is replaced by Vivian Nixon. I'm not saying she did a terrible job, I just find it really odd hearing Millie with a southern accent. I don't want to say she's a bad voice actress, she's obviously talented in her work. I just think she overplayed her voice when Millie does have this southern accent, but not a strong one. And I imagine that she overcharacterized that, or the directors just weren't clear with how she is supposed to sound. I don't know, I'm not gonna get into full detail as I have zero knowledge and experience with how voice acting works. With that out of the way, let's go with the next character. In the pilot, Blitz reminds me of Michael from The Office. He is the boss, is pretty much an asshole to most of his workers, and doesn't take his job seriously. And I really appreciate that they improved Blitz's character, as he is still one of the things that I mentioned, except he takes his job seriously, which I enjoyed a lot. I much prefer this version of Blitz than the pilot. Loona's still the same character in the pilot, nothing I can say about her. I'm somewhat disappointed in how he turned out, because he's my favorite character in the show, mostly because I relate to him a lot. If you watch the pilot and compare it to the episodes side by side, you start to realize that they feel like two completely different characters. Moxxie on the pilot is more straightforward and is by far the most rational character in the group, while on the episode, Moxxie's personality feels completely shifted. He seems more compassionate, worrying, and shy, like throughout the episode. Blitzo seemed the most rational character on the cast than Moxxie. If you ask me, his role should have been switched with Millie's role, while Millie takes Moxxie's role, and it would still be consistent with the character. I understand that the pilot isn't a canon source, it's just a pitch or an idea thrown at the public if they like the show or not, similar when you see a gameplay trailer. It's kinda like if Sega released a gameplay trailer of Sonic being, well, Sonic, but in the final product he's way more serious. It's like the character had a shift of personality. Like, in the pilot, he wasn't concerned about killing a child, and more concerned if they killed the right target, even though we have no idea nor even an explanation why the kid should be killed. While on the episode, he shows concerns for the family, even though he was captured and realized that the family are complete psychos, but still show compassion for the well-being of the family.
But it's a family! Under what circumstances would we ever need to kill a human family?
I mean, if that's what the client wants.
Maybe like a shitty dad.
Or a mob family. That's understandable.
But to eradicate an entire innocent, seemingly in this instance, upper middle class family bloodline? I'd like to go on record and say that incident was Loona's fault. Dispatch is supposed to give us the right info on the target. It's very simple.
I don't know, that's just how I see it. For Stolas, they haven't changed that much about him. The only difference is the voice actor, who is now voiced by Bryce Pinkham, while in the pilot, Stolas was voiced by Brock Baker. As much as I prefer Brock Baker to play as Stolas, I will say that Bryce did a fantastic job voicing him, and he does deserve the spot of voicing Stolas. As I mentioned before, they haven't changed Stolas that much in the episode, and I don't really mind. They did redo the joke again, which I did laugh of course, but at the same time, I'm concerned if this is going to be a running joke in in the show, which I doubt, and they're probably going to flesh out Stolas in future episode. Overall, I think they did an amazing job and give props to the people behind the show. If you compare both the pilot and the episode, you can see that they polished the quality of the animation and gave more expression to the character. Now, I may be heading to nitpick territory, but the thing that I don't like about the show is the human world. I simply do not understand why the human world is filled with idiots, while hell seems like a more preferable place to live in and a more believable world. I think they're trying to make the human world as a social commentary, similar to Family Guy and South Park. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you why South Park and Family Guy does it better. All I'm going to say is, if you want to make it a social commentary, prioritize it by making it realistic and then make it satirical and conclude it with a logical consequences, not making the police blow up a family like the US drones Middle Eastern countries. It's not like they're bad at making social commentary, they actually did a good joke about it in the pilot.
Oh, what can I do you for this time, Stolas?
There's a political candidate causing trouble up on Earth for a few of my associates. He's trying to convince people global warming exists.
Doesn't it?
Well, yes, but more people die if nothing is done about it.
So far, I really like how it turned out. While there is some stuff that I wish it didn't change, it did not really bother me that much, and it's still worth watching since it's on YouTube and free to watch. I give Helluva Boss an 8.5 out of 10. Anyways, that's pretty much everything I have to say with this episode. Maybe the first episode of Has Been Hotel is probably around the corner, and hopefully they will improve the flaws in the pilot and I'll make a video about it. If you're interested in the type of content I make, leave a like and please subscribe to my channel, and I'm currently working on making a video on Ruby, so if you're interested in what I have to say about the series, you just have to subscribe to my channel. Anyways, my name is Crone and I'll see you guys then.